besties, when I came to Lincoln for the first time, getting a job was very easy for me. So I arrived. It took me 1 week to get myself and understand the environment. And the next week, I applied for jobs. In one day, I did 3 interviews and got 3 job offers. It ended up being 2 job offers because the last one rejected me because I did not have the license to drive in the UK. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this is not to toot my horn. The reason I just told you this is to make you understand where I'm coming from. So last year, September, new students came in. And the next thing I started hearing, there are no jobs, no jobs, no jobs. And I'm like, there are jobs. Then this year, January, new students came in and they keep complaining, there are no jobs, there are no jobs. And I was at first saying, there are jobs, but later on, after carefully analyzing, I have a different opinion on whether or not there are jobs. And in this video, I'm going to explain, as you know me, I can analyze for Africa. I would analyze the current situation of employment or jobs for international students in Lincoln. Not only that, at the end of this video, I would give you tips on how to get jobs as fast as you can as an international student. So watch till the end if you want all of that goodness. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Ada and I'm also known as the Legal Pepe. I always say stay subscribed because on this channel we talk about social work, relocation and lifestyle content. Now to your question, are there jobs? I would say yes and no. Because yes, there are jobs in Lincoln. However, how accessible are these jobs? I'll break it down. When I came to Lincoln, as I've said in my previous video, if you've not watched it, I'll put up the link. I said that time, a lot of international students had not come to Lincoln. People did not even know where Lincoln was. And it was easier for people like me and people that came before me because the demand was high and the supply of people that wanted to work was low. And that gave us more job opportunities and more options. But right now, things have changed. There are a lot of international students in the UK and in Lincoln specifically, and this has made the job opportunities smaller. So there are jobs in Lincoln, but there are a lot of people that are competing for the same jobs, and this would make it more difficult for someone to just get jobs. Now, my advice to you if you're coming to Lincoln is ensure you have spare money. Ensure you have at least 3 months living expenses so that just in case anything happens, you would be able to fend for yourself. Don't come to Lincoln with the mindset that in your first week you will get a job. That can happen, but what if it doesn't? Because there are some people that have come here and it has taken them a while to get jobs. Now, apart from the number of international students that are currently in Lincoln, the number of dependents have risen, and this has made it difficult for students. Let me explain. If you are an international student and you are married or you have a partner, your partner would be entitled to work full-time, unlike you that would have to work just 20 hours maximum. Now, companies would want your partner to work for them than you because your partner would work full-time, and most companies favor permanent or full-time staff. For most companies, when they have the option to pick a student or a dependent, they are definitely picking a dependent because they know that for a dependent, you would give them all your time, but a student cannot do so. And the rise in the number of dependents in Lincoln has made it difficult for students. So if you're watching me right now and you're married or you have a legal partner and you're worried about jobs in Lincoln, do not be worried, because if you're a dependent and you can work full-time, there is no problem for you. Now, as a student, even if you decide to be stubborn and you want to breach the laws, you cannot truly work full-time, because once you go to classes, unless you decide to ditch classes, and at that point you are definitely going to have issues in the short run or in the long run, because you will not even have an attendance And in the University of Lincoln, they prioritize your attendance, like you are here to study. Now, if you are a student, don't be worried. You will still get jobs. But the thing is, you may not get jobs as fast as you think you would. But if you are patient and you follow a lot of these tips I give, you will definitely get jobs. One thing I would always say is, it just takes one job. Once you get your first job, you are well on your way to getting numerous jobs. Because apart from being a student, another issue that makes it difficult for students to get jobs will be the fact that they don't have UK experience. And when UK employers have lots of options, they would prefer people that have UK job experience. But of course, you just came from your country, so how can you have UK experience? One way you can have UK experience is by doing any legal job you can find. If you are here and you are sponsoring yourself, you cannot afford to be a proud person. You cannot afford to have ego. Keep your ego aside. No one cares whether you were a bank manager in your country, whether you were a lawyer, no one cares. You've come here, and if you've come here to hustle, my dad hates this word hustle. If you've come here to work, it is important to put in your all and get a job. So your first job may not be your best job, but trust me, once you have that UK experience, it makes it easier for you. I told you that in the beginning, I got like 2 job offers at once, and one of them turned out to be my worst job experiences I've been in the UK, and it was a care job. After I got that job, I really wanted to leave. But guess what? I did not leave. I stayed there for 3 months and got amazing experience, not just in working in the UK, but in the care sector. And immediately I left that job, I had lots and lots of job opportunities. It was so overwhelming that I had numerous options. I did not even know which ones to pick. Like, I was confused. So you are here watching me wondering, how would I get a job? Trust me, start whatever you can find. And you can give yourself 3 months or maximum 6 months. I would just say 3 months. Once you have that experience, you will become an asset because you would have a UK company as your reference in your CV, and that makes a whole lot of difference. Some companies will not even employ you if you've not gotten another experience from the UK, which I find very funny because they know that you are new to the UK, but they really don't care. So start any job, any legal job that you can find. Also, if you are the type of person that you have means of income or you can feed or fend for yourself, it may be useful to volunteer. People underestimate the importance of volunteering. It is so important. There are lots of places that need volunteers. Of course, they won't pay you, but guess what? They can be in your reference. They can be in your CV. They count as UK experience. You can go to a charity shop and volunteer. These little things actually count. So if you have time on your hands and you're not doing anything, you're just waiting for a job, depending when you get a job, get the experiences that you need. Now, there are various job opportunities in Lincoln, various, but the common ones are factory work. To be a factory worker, don't need any experience. You will just get the job and they will train you. Another common job would be definitely care and support job. These two are not the same, but people think they are the same. For care jobs, mostly you do personal care. You may be caring for an old person or a very young person, or basically someone that is totally dependent on you. But for support jobs come in various shapes and forms. You could be supporting an autistic individual, someone with ADHD, someone with mental health illnesses. Like, there are various shades of support jobs. You could be supporting a person that is on their way to being independent, or a person that is struggling with 1 or 2 issues. But most support jobs, you may not do personal care. Of course, in some you still would, but most you would not do. Now, apart from those jobs, there are lots of opportunities in retail stores. If you are watching me and you are an Asian and you are in Lincoln, there are lots of Asian stores here. And I mentioned Asian because they like employing their own. They would prefer to employ a fellow Asian. So just walk into any of these stores and tell them you want to work. The beautiful thing is when you speak their language or you guys have similar background, it is easier for you. And the best part about working for those kind of stores is that you get paid cash at hand. What that means is whatever you get paid is not even going to be taxed, literally. And that is so amazing for any international student. If you know, you know. Still on the Asian stores, you won't believe that in Lincoln, there is actually no African store. I said what I said. There are 3 Asian stores: Ryan, Medina, and Asian Supermarket. Now, these stores, they actually sell African things. Egusi, ogbono, anything African you will get in those stores. But they are owned by Asians. I'm trying to tell you that if you are Asian, there are opportunities in those stores. Now, even if you are not Asian, there are lots of stores you can actually walk in. I know I'm saying lots of, and in your mind you may be like, wow, lots of. Remember, there are jobs, but because of the number of people here, they may not be readily accessible. But I'm just telling you that there are actually jobs in Lincoln. I know that to some other people, they may think, oh, I'm just looking at it in a very positive mindset, because in reality,
because in reality, what is the reality?
even if you don't want to do any of these regular traditional jobs, there are opportunities in places like law firms, accounting firms, dental firms, various places. Now, bear in mind that Lincoln is actually a small place. So in Lincoln, you will not find all these big companies, big organizations. No, that's the reality. You will not find. But are there jobs? Yes. Now, I know that some people maybe in Lincoln may watch this video and wonder, maybe I'm just being positive. No, I'm not just trying to be positive or tell you that there are jobs when there are no jobs. There are jobs, but you would have to work extra hard to get those jobs. Personally, I don't believe in having a scarcity mindset. There is always abundance, and even in Lincoln, there is abundance, but it may not happen as fast as you think. So if you are planning to leave your country to come to Lincoln and you have no money at all, such that if you don't get a job, you would not be able to survive, then don't come to Lincoln. But if you are maybe sponsoring yourself and you don't have so much money, but you have some money that can keep you afloat, then come to Lincoln. It may take some time, you may even get a job so easily, or it may take longer, but would you eventually get a job? Yes, you would. Now, apart from all of these organizations I've mentioned, a great place to get jobs is to go to Lincoln's Careers and Employability Office. These people have job options. They can talk to you about job opportunities, and this is something that may be helpful to you. Also, you can go to the student union. They have admin jobs or even jobs to be like a bartender or a waitress in lots of these pubs around Lincoln. Remember what I said in the beginning, put your pride aside. If the job is legal, you can do it. Much more than this, you can even become a student ambassador. You can be an international student ambassador, especially if you're very confident and you're good at communicating with people. These are options that you can explore. You can also check out some agencies like Ambitions, Staffline. These are recruitment agencies that have offices in Lincoln. You can go there, ask. The point is, if you are proactive about this thing, you would get jobs eventually. An important tip that will help you to get good jobs would be to optimize your CV. How many minutes have I talked? Oh my god, I've talked for a while, and I don't want the video to be too long, and I still want to talk about optimizing your CV, because some people treat their CVs like they are looking for jobs in their home country. No, you are in the UK, it is not the same. I don't know if in this video I will be able to talk extensively about CV, but I will try my best. If after watching you still want to know more about CV, let me know in the comment section. But for now, what I would say is that in your CV, put your best foot forward. Talk about the most important thing. Some things that are in your old CV are not relevant in your CV to come to work in the UK. For instance, some irrelevant details that you would put in your CV would be unnecessary in your CV to get a job in the UK. See, I would always say that in your CV, just put the important things only. Don't waste your time, because these employers have lots of CVs they are looking at, and the goal is for them to look at your CV at a glance and want you to work for them. That's the goal. And I would always say that in your CV, only the important experience with respect to that job should be in your CV. If, for instance, you're applying as a care or a support worker, do you think your employer cares that you are a lawyer? They do not. Those certifications are not important for the job role, because in this place, for instance, you will see carers and support workers that did not even go to secondary school at all, because the main thing that they have to boast of is their experience as a care worker. So if, for instance, you're applying as a care worker, your CV should be filled with things that you've done that shows that you've actually cared for people. And trust me, if you are an African, at least I know that for a fact, you must have had some informal care experience. You must, because we live in a communal setting. So you must have cared for your grandma, your grandpa, your autistic cousin. You must have cared for somebody. And these little things that we neglect are relevant job experiences. In one of my videos, I talked about skills you need to have before you relocate to the UK, and I'll be linking it in this video, because you need to know a lot about these skills, as it would help you. It really would. So your CV should contain only the important points that relates to you with respect to that job. Another tip I will give you is that apply early. When you apply early, you have an edge over others. And when you want to apply, don't just apply to one company. Spread your, I mentioned it in one of my videos and someone corrected me, cast your nets upon many waters. I think I'm correct. Cast your fish upon many nets. Yes. So yes, like, spread your net widely. I don't know why I like saying this net thing, but apply to as many companies as possible. That way you would have options. In addition to these, include certifications and get the relevant care certifications. If you are applying for care or support jobs, I know I've said a lot about those jobs because those are the jobs I have done. I've never done factory work, and I know that you don't need certifications for that. But for care and support work, for instance, there are agencies, for instance, Florence Academy, which is a company that you can get relevant care certifications from. Get those care certificates and put in your CV. Now, speaking of CV, I've tried my best to summarize a lot of things I can about CVs, but I know that is not comprehensive on CVs. But once you've been able to optimize your CV, ensure you put that CV on job sites. Now, the two job sites I would recommend to you would be Indeed and Total Jobs. I have used Indeed. I still use Indeed because all the jobs I've gotten were from Indeed. And for Indeed, all I needed to do was to save my CV on Indeed. The good thing about that is any organization that wants you would be the ones calling you. So it was initially that I applied for jobs. When I got my relevant experiences and I updated my CV and made it visible for any employers on Indeed, I was getting phone calls and emails. Like, it was a choke, literally. So any job you can find right now, get it. But in the meantime, put your CV on Indeed and let prospective employers contact you if they feel you have what they desire. Now, if you are in your home country by now, one important skill you should have would be driving. I mentioned it in my video on skills, and I said that when you can drive and you actually have the license to drive in the UK, you have more options than someone, in short, you have a lot of options than someone that cannot drive and has no license. About jobs, of course, you will need your national insurance number, but if you just arrived the UK and you don't have that yet, at least with the application number that you'll be given when you apply for your NIN, you can use that to apply for jobs. Also, I'm saying a lot of things that I can remember about jobs that would be beneficial to you. Police report is also something that is beneficial for some people. I have never used my police report since I came to the country, but I know people that have used theirs. So it's better safe than sorry. Another tip I will give is, if you are in Lincoln, learn to look outside Lincoln. I met someone the other day and she was telling me that there are no jobs in Lincoln, but she got a job in Nottingham and it's too far. I'm like, See, sometimes you can't wait for manna to fall under your laps. Sometimes some people shoot themselves in the leg. You may not find your dream job in Lincoln, but there are jobs around Lincoln that you can get. Lincoln to Nottingham is just like 56 minutes. That's like an hour. And train is very affordable. You can walk there. You can walk in Newark, Sleaford, Grimsby, and all of these neighboring places. Especially if you are not married. You are not accountable to anybody. You literally can go anywhere and work. There is nothing saying you have to work in Lincoln, but people like their comfort zones more than plunging out. The best job I've ever done since I've been in Lincoln was a support job. Guess what, besties? I left Lincoln to go to Leeds. I put up a vlog about it. I'm sure people felt, oh, I went to have fun. I actually went to work. I left Lincoln to Leeds to go to work. And I remember telling someone and they were like, why would you leave Lincoln to go to Leeds? But if you know, you know. And after doing that job, I did not need to work throughout the month. Because the money I got from that job, there was no need to work again. Plus, they even paid my transport fare, booked me in a hotel. It's about working smart, not working hard. So that's the thing, like extend and expand your tentacles. And if you are even married, but you're married to someone that understands that money needs to be made, especially if you're independent, see, you don't have to limit yourself to Lincoln. You actually don't. And the irony is that job I did was the easiest job I've ever done. All I did was to watch somebody that was independent, but the person needed an adult to watch over them. So you can leave Lincoln. There is nobody tying you down to Lincoln. You are not a tree. You can actually move. And when I'm even saying places like Nottingham, Newark, these places are even around Lincoln. You can go there and work. I'm getting really fired up right now. Now, don't forget that the students, you have limitation of working 20 hours maximum during term time. So after term time, you can work full time. And that's why I would always tell anybody, see, apart from paying deposit, pay a huge chunk of your tuition fee before relocating. I know why I said so. People think when you come to the UK, you will just make money just like that. It doesn't work that way. I have a lot of stories to tell about that, but let's just leave that. Now, also, when it comes to job, there are two categories: agency work and working for a company. I would always advise you to have more than one job as an international student. Since you most likely would desire Tier 2 sponsorship or work visa, it is great to work for a company, especially one that sponsors visa, so you can do your 20 hours with that company. However, I would always advise you to have an agency by the side. You may never work with that agency, but at least you have them by the side, such that outside term time you can work with both companies or just in case anything happens with your permanent job. I have also done a video where I talked about likely interview questions and answers, and I'll be linking that up also. Then finally, my god, this feels like a very comprehensive video. Finally, the place of references cannot be overemphasized. So if you're leaving your home country, you see people that leave their jobs at home. Let me use Nigeria for instance. So let's say you are working in Nigeria, then because you want to japa, you just act in a very disrespectful manner, or you just dump your boss, literally. It will come back and bite your bum bum. Any company that employs you without UK experience would require references, and some companies would ask you for references for even 5 years. Now, can you go back to that your boss that you just treated like trash because you wanted to japa? You cannot. And I would always say, as much as possible, when you are leaving your job, leave on a good note, so that because you will need them, you would need them. Ordinarily, you should even leave on a good note as much as you can, not just because you would need them, but because that's the decent thing to do. But also you will need them. But when you get settled in the UK, you may not need them anymore, as you would now need references from the companies you've worked for in the UK. Besties, this video is very comprehensive, and I know I love analyzing, and the point is, after watching, in fact, if you've watched this video to this point, you already know the answers to your question of whether or not you should come to the University of Lincoln. You know the answers, and oh my god, this video is a lot. It's a lot. So if you have any questions, do well to drop it in the comment section, and if you want to support me, do well to share this video. Of course, subscribe if you've not done so already, and if you've not watched my overview video on Lincoln series, I'll be linking it up here. Actually, there are lots of videos I've mentioned today, and I will just place all the links in the description box so you will not miss any of them in case you've not watched it. If you want to know more about me personally, do well to follow me on Instagram, and I'm going to see you on Saturday by 6 p.m. West African time and 5 p.m. GMT. I'm tired, Jesus.